day 2 of 111 days posting on YouTube. So today, it's harder getting on here today. Totally overthinking it. But yeah, I sat down and journaled, and that supported that piece. My thoughts, to organize them, and yeah, lots of ego coming up and lots of like resistance to sharing myself. So fear coming up. So I welcome it. I take this as an opportunity to get past the things that are holding, the way that I'm holding myself back. So I've written down some things that I'll be referring to my little notes here. And I'll leave us with a practice that I picked out of a deck. I'll share it with you. It's called Vagus Nerve Exercises. I sometimes will just get suggestions. So like today is feet on the floor. We'll get to that. And like if I'm, personally, I like guided stuff because it helps my attention, and because I need to pay attention to do the practice. So that helps me. I've been doing this for years now, so my nervous system recognizes right away what I'm trying to do, and because it feels so good and because it's been my way of healing my nervous system, this is really supportive. So, and if you don't know who I am, why I'm doing this, you could go to my last 2 videos, or I think one of the first videos I talk about who I am. I'll get into a little bit more in another video in the future. I'll get into who I am, how I practice, my intentions. Today is January 1st, so Happy New Year to all of you that celebrated in that way. You know, I feel like this season is really about reconnecting with ourselves, reflecting what do we want to bring, what do we want to leave behind, and what is it that, you know, is not serving us, and what is it that I want to envision for my future? What is it that, you know, is serving me? How do I continue to show up for myself and you know, continue to do the things that will support me? And doing that, then I'm able to do the support and continue to support those I love around me and those that I care for and support in other ways. So yeah, so I just want to do a little share first about talking about you know, being free to be my authentic self, and how do we do that when in our past, personally, you know, when I showed my authentic self, it wasn't always accepted. I am a person that shares easily, and in the past, when I'll get into a little bit of it, of who I am and why I do what I do today. So I'm by trade a nurse, a registered nurse, and I've worked in mental health for years, 20 plus years now. So I've been a nurse since 2005, and you know, working in the system, I've seen how it supports and how it doesn't. And one of the reasons I'm out working independent practice now is because I can't practice fully of who I am. So for me, you know, at one point in my career, I saw compassion fatigue. There was, you know, the umbrella term of burnout, but then it continued down until, you know, I ended up with a traumatic stress injury from my work. And I talk about that lots in nurse to nurse peer support. and it'll be about on my website when I get there, when I get it up for Mindful Nurse Gardener. And yeah, so when I had that injury, you know, knowing what I knew was, I was so grateful for, of course, because, you know, someone who cares for people with trauma and with mental health challenges, substance use challenges, I could see what was going on. And, you know, right away I got the help I needed. So, you know, those changes that do happen with our nervous system and our mind and our body, I was able to get a hold of it sooner than later, which we always have better results when we can catch it early. Not to say that we can't support when it's later down the line as well, because we can, and I know that because I've done that work with people. So yeah, and I can get into that another day too. But today, really, my intention today was to come in and talk about how do I show up as my authentic self, and, you know, address that fear that comes up, like when coming on here to talk to you guys today. So how do I sing my own song? I said, free to be myself, my authentic self, get out of my own way. For years, you know, I sung the song that I thought that people wanted me to sing, really. But I can't do that anymore. It was eating at my heart, my soul, and you know, to be a nurse in the system now for me it doesn't work for me now. And I'm happy when my colleagues and my friends and my peers are able to make it work, and that's great. Some of us can and some of us cannot, and it doesn't make us, you know, it doesn't put a judgment on anyone. It is what it is. So, you know, I had to come to that point in my getting to know who I am again after my injury. Yeah, so, and you know what I also had to come to terms with and head on right away is, you know, in the beginning when I was healing and I was, you know, when I was healing, I was in recovery and I was doing really well. If I did share with someone that I had a traumatic stress injury, there was a judgment, you know, there was judgment. And there were times that I was judged that I couldn't do the work, or I was judged that I was even right now, like, notice if there is judgment coming up when you hear that I had a traumatic stress injury. And it's like, why is she doing this work? Is she not going to have that for the rest of her life? No, you don't need to hang on to all that. You know, these are misunderstandings that, yeah, well, I'll continue to talk about. But for myself personally, so, you know, if this resonates with you and, you know, I can mirror any of this for you, that is why I'm here. I'm here to speak my truth so that others can also see themselves and not be afraid to go forward and move forward from where they're at, where they find themselves. And not everyone's going to agree with me, and that's okay. Be curious, though. What is she talking about? You know, be curious. But I personally need to open up the cage that I have put around myself, and I need to be free to be myself. So that's why I'm here. I also wrote today, it's time to surrender and radically accept who I am so that I can continue to go forward, you know. When I am trying to control and release, or when I'm trying to control a situation, I'm more liable to go into a freeze or a fight or a flee, or I get into that fear response. And it's just noticing that, being aware of when that might come up, and it's okay to let go. It's okay to not be certain, how is this going to work out for me? I'm not sure. But I'm going for it, because this is what I know in my heart that I can do. I know that I can work with people. I've proven myself over and over again in a system that I can work as a therapist, even as a nurse. I can work, with people with trauma, because I've been there and I've walked my way out. And yeah, I've done the work, and I continue to do the work every day, in one small way or another, right? I'm trying to be mindful of the getting rid of the shoulds and I must have, or must do it this way or that way, and because that's how that person's doing it. And it's so easy to be like, oh, they're doing well, I must do it their way. But I'm gonna, maybe resonate with something that I'm like, oh, I like that, or I like this piece, or I like that, but I'm gonna do it my way, right? And as long as I'm not causing harm, that is then keep doing what I'm going to be doing, right? And I'm going to take that leap of faith, jump into the next level of my life, imagine how, as I move forward, and, those little steps, like, yeah, I was sick through the holidays. I overdid it. And I got that cold that was going around. And I just had to take it easy. And that was hard. I'm not gonna lie. That was hard for me to take it easy, because I've been pushing myself to get the website done, and to continue to move forward. And I think there was some guidance there to just take time for myself, be with my family, be with myself, and reflect, that reflection piece that I was talking about. So, what can we imagine? What can you imagine going forward, your life to be in this new year, right? How do you move forward? How do I move forward? Little bits, little parts, little bits here or there, not pushing too hard. Yeah, timing is right. Listening to my intuition rather than that fearful ego that can resist change and clings to worried kind of ways. Trust that this new experience will deepen my life with magic and meaning. There's something I've been talking about with others, through Nurse to Nurse peer support. I was talking to through the peer circle, I was talking about how excitement and nervousness can show up in the body and can feel the same, right? Just take a second to, think about a time that you were really excited, and then notice how that comes up in your body, right? And then think about a time that you were like anxious or worried or nervous, and you kind of feel it the same way. So I'm gonna choose to feel excited about this new path forward. Yeah, and I'm excited for you all too, whoever is watching. I'm excited for your new year. I'm excited for what those grateful moments bring for you. What you learn about yourself as you go through the challenges, the pain, and walk through it. And, know that you're not alone. Know that there's help, there's support. One of the things I practice, and I suggest to people always too, is like, find someone who is trauma informed, someone who recognizes what is trauma. They walk the talk. If you meet with them and it feels okay, give it at least 3 or 5 times, to, you know, if your intuition's telling you, no, this is not a fit, then be okay to walk away from those relationships. When they're therapeutic, they need to be therapeutic. So, yeah. And that's something I tell people too when they come into my practice. It's, if this isn't a fit, that's okay. And that we can talk about it. And there's so much healing that can happen in that moment too, right? Between, in that, you know, speaking to that, yeah, it's okay to use our voice. It's okay to say, hey, you know, I don't think this is working. And then, you know, find another path, and that's okay. So one of the things that I like to practice, and I'll get into the practice now, this is a long one, is trauma-sensitive mindfulness. So I did a training with David Trebling, and if you've ever done any of his courses or watched anything from David Trebling, he's got a book called Trauma-Sensitive Mindfulness as well, and he's got the course. It's a great course. So one of the things is you're always in choice. When I do these practices, you don't need to do them, or you can skip forward to, you know, where I start the practice at 16 minutes again. And you don't need to listen to all the jibber jabber in the beginning there. It's your choice, right? You don't have to watch this video. It's your choice. If it doesn't resonate and it doesn't feel good, then don't go there. If you're triggered from me, be curious too. If you feel that nervous system activation, then maybe that's what I'll talk about tomorrow, is nervous system activation, so we have a good solid base to go off of. If you feel that, you know, you go into anxious place, or you go into shutdown when I say something, like notice that. Notice if I piss you off. And yes, I swear sometimes. Notice if I tick you off, right? Notice if what I'm talking about is bringing something up. That is where their opportunity is, right? It's learning about your nervous system bringing in awareness is key, right? And that's key to your road to recovery. Is like, if we ignore it, it's just going to stay the same, right? And if we push it down in a way, it's just going to stay the same. But when we bring attention to it, it highlights things that are going on for us. So today, from a trauma-sensitive approach, you have choice. So I'm going to invite you to come to this practice, and it is the feet on the floor. Feel the earth beneath you, and yeah, you can either have your eyes open or you can have your eyes closed, downward gaze. Try to find a place when you come to a practice of mindfulness or meditation, or where you're being mindful and going into a place where you're going to pay attention to your attention and what you're becoming aware of in your surroundings. Try to find a place that you won't be disturbed, or tell people around you that you're just taking a moment to be quiet and you need that. It's finding some boundaries to find your space. So, and while you're sitting here, either eyes open or closed, take a moment to notice your feet on the ground, where your body connects with your seat, or if you're lying down, where your body's connecting. And if you're lying down, just, you know, notice your feet, where the heels are connecting. You can still do this practice. Just be creative with your imagination. So just take a moment, allowing your body to kind of gravity to support it, coming down a bit more. Your shoulders, notice where they are. Let them hang a little bit more. And then coming to your breath, just notice your breath. So we're going to take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Again. And as you're breathing in, just feeling that breath come up through from where you're sitting up to the top of your head. And then pause. And then releasing your breath. Allowing anything you need to release, just release. If you go into your thoughts, you can name them if you need to, just thoughts. Those are my thoughts. Don't cling to them. You'll get to them later. Whatever you need to do later, you can do later. Just come back to your breath as an anchor. Come back to feeling your feet on the ground, yourself sitting, lying wherever you are. Okay, coming back to your breath. So with each breath, just visualize your feet on the ground, grounding you into the earth, feeling that sense of stability and support. And if your mind wanders, just gently bring it back to your attention, back to your feet, back to those sensations in your body. And do it in a way that's not judging yourself, just like mindfully notice it. There I am, going back to my thoughts. Just come back to your breath. Come back to that sensation in your body that your breath brings, that the sitting in the seat brings, that your feet on the ground brings. Just noticing your breath, expanding you. And then when you release it, allowing it to release. You could even imagine when you're releasing your breath, releasing anything that doesn't serve you, any thoughts that are coming up that might be judgmental, just releasing down through your body, down into your feet and into the earth. I imagine I'm very connected to Mother Earth. You'll see that in my practices going forward. I imagine Mother Earth just taking whatever it is that I don't need to hang on to, like my fear of judgment being here in front of people, sharing these practices. Just allowing it to move out of my body, out of my thoughts, out of my body and into the earth, Mother Earth, taking it and transmuting it. Allowing it just to go. I can't control how others will take me, judge me, but many may resonate with me too, and my intention being here purely just to support. So, going forward, you can take this practice as long as you want on your own, or 5-10 minutes. Start slow, go slow. If you've never done this, just take it easy, just take it slow. 1 minute might be enough for you just to notice your breath, feel your feet on the ground. These can be like a mini practice you take into your work, into the day, into, you're driving in your vehicle, as long as you're not closing your eyes. And someone ticks you off and you just stop, you notice your breath, you notice yourself sitting there, you notice your hands on the steering wheel. You might notice like the tension, how you're holding your hands, they're tight. Just relax, keep hanging on to the wheel though. You know, just be creative with this practice and bring it into your everyday. Breath allows our nervous system to reset. It allows our nervous system to go from that fight, flight, freeze, sympathetic nervous system into that parasympathetic. So there is some science to it. It's not a bunch of hippy-dippy baloney. So yeah, okay, thank you. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm going to leave this now, and yeah, got to keep this under 30 minutes or less. Okay, take care, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye.